La Belle V was the epitome of luxury dining in the city. Known for its opulent decor, modern chandeliers, floor-to-ceiling glass panels, and an air of exclusivity, it wasn't just a place to eat. It was a symbol of social status. Patrons basked in the privilege of being part of such an elite establishment. However, one evening, the gleaming reputation of La Belle V would be shattered by an incident that exposed its darker undercurrents. Christopher Bailey, a rising entrepreneur with a sharp sense of style and a confident demeanor, stepped into the restaurant that evening. Recently promoted, he had chosen La Belle V to celebrate his success, a decision he had anticipated with joy. Clad in a tailored suit, Christopher exuded professionalism and charm as he approached the reception desk. Yet, the warm anticipation in his heart was quickly met with a cold, unwelcoming gaze from the receptionist. "Good evening. I have a reservation under the name Christopher Bailey," he said politely, his smile unwavering. The young woman behind the desk gave him a fleeting glance before flipping through the reservation book. Her stiff posture and furrowed brows betrayed her discomfort. Christopher waited patiently, but something about her manner felt wrong. Finally, she closed the book and said curtly, "I'm sorry, but I don't see any reservation under that name." Confused but composed, Christopher pulled out his phone to show her the confirmation email. "There must be some mistake," he said, holding up his phone. "Here's the confirmation. Perhaps you can check again?" The receptionist barely glanced at his screen before shaking her head. "I'm afraid the restaurant is fully booked tonight," she said, her tone dismissive. Christopher noticed the faint hint of a smirk on her lips. It wasn't a mistake, it was deliberate. Before he could respond, a tall man in a pristine suit appeared behind the desk. Elliot, the restaurant manager, had joined the scene. He looked Christopher over, his gaze cool and calculated. "Is there a problem?" Elliot asked, addressing the receptionist while ignoring Christopher. The young woman explained the error, and Christopher, sensing an underlying hostility, spoke up to clarify. "I have a reservation confirmed in writing. I was looking forward to celebrating an important occasion here." Elliot nodded slowly, feigning concern. "I understand, but mistakes do happen. Unfortunately, we are at capacity this evening. Perhaps another time," he said with a tone so disingenuous that it made Christopher's stomach churn. Christopher's instincts told him this wasn't a simple oversight. The disapproving glances, the refusal to verify his reservation, all signs pointed to something deeper. Choosing not to cause a scene, Christopher stepped back, his pride intact but his disappointment evident. As he left the reception area, his eyes caught a sign on the wall. "For your safety, this area is under video surveillance." A flicker of hope sparked in his mind. The next morning, Christopher contacted Michelle Laurent, the owner of La Belle V, known for her commitment to customer satisfaction and fairness. Michelle was a respected figure in the industry. When she heard Christopher's calm, yet determined account of the events, she was both surprised and deeply concerned. "This isn't just a mistake," Christopher said, his voice firm. "I felt disrespected, excluded, and devalued. That's not the experience your restaurant promises." Michelle, who prided herself on her restaurant's reputation, felt a pang of guilt. How could something like this happen under my watch? She wondered. Determined to uncover the truth, she immediately ordered a review of the restaurant's security footage. When the video was brought to her, Michelle watched with a mix of disbelief and anger. The footage confirmed everything Christopher had described, and worse. The receptionist had indeed found his name in the reservation book, but deliberately crossed it out, smirking as she turned to Elliot. The audio from the microphones picked up her words. "This will make tonight a bit easier." Elliot, instead of questioning her actions, nodded in approval. Christopher had patiently tried to explain his situation, but Elliot's dismissive demeanor and false claim of a fully booked restaurant sealed the injustice. Michelle replayed the footage several times, her disappointment growing with each viewing. This wasn't just an error in judgment. It was a blatant act of discrimination. The value she had built her restaurant on, equality, respect, and professionalism, had been trampled. Michelle wasted no time in contacting Christopher. Her voice carried genuine remorse as she said, "Mr. Bailey, I owe you the deepest apology. What you experienced at my restaurant is unacceptable and entirely against everything we stand for. I would like to invite you back, not just for a meal, but to have an honest discussion about how we can make this right." Christopher appreciated her sincerity, but remained cautious. "It's important that this isn't just about me," he said. "This is a systemic issue that needs addressing." Michelle agreed wholeheartedly. She invited Christopher to meet with her and assured him that the issue would be handled transparently. When Christopher arrived, Michelle greeted him personally, her expression one of solemn determination. She led him to a private meeting room where the receptionist and Elliot sat, their faces pale with apprehension. The air was thick with tension as Michelle addressed her staff. "Mr. Bailey," she began, turning to Christopher, "has been gracious enough to meet with us despite the appalling treatment he received here. I expect an explanation." The receptionist lowered her head, her voice trembling. "I made a mistake," she admitted. "I let my biases affect my judgment, and I'm truly sorry." Elliot followed, his tone equally contrite. "As the manager, I should have acted differently. I allowed this situation to escalate, and for that I apologize." Michelle listened, but remained unswayed. "An apology is a start, but it doesn't erase the harm done," she said, her voice firm. "Today, I am terminating your employment. This behavior has no place in my restaurant." Both employees nodded silently, their shame evident as they left the room. Turning to Christopher, Michelle said, "This isn't just about firing two people. This incident has revealed deeper flaws in how we operate. I will be implementing mandatory anti-discrimination training for all staff and working to ensure that this restaurant is a place where everyone feels welcome." Christopher nodded, recognizing her resolve. "That's the kind of change that makes a difference," he said. "It's not just about this one incident. It's about creating a culture of respect." Michelle followed through on her promises. The restaurant underwent a comprehensive transformation, not just in its policies but in its heart. Staff were retrained, community leaders were consulted, and La Belle Vie became a beacon of inclusivity in the city. For Christopher, this wasn't just a personal victory. It was a step towards systemic change. His voice had sparked a movement within one of the city's most prominent establishments, proving that even the smallest actions can lead to profound transformation. Enjoyed the story? Don't keep it to yourself. Share it with a friend. Hit that like button and subscribe for more heartwarming tales. Let's spread the inspiration together.